Did you know the Bible mentions only three angels by name? Gabriel, Satan, and Michael. Michael stands out as the only one called an archangel. Why him? What made this angel so special? Michael's story goes beyond heavenly battles. It shows how faith and a humble heart can overcome anything. Get ready to learn how an ordinary angel became heaven's greatest warrior. Picture this: Michael, a young angel in heaven, blended in with the crowd. Many other angels overlooked him, thinking he'd never amount to much. But they were wrong. Michael had something special that set him apart. What made Michael truly unique? It wasn't his strength or appearance. His true power came from within, his heart. Michael cared deeply about doing the right thing, no matter the cost. When others might have looked away, Michael stood firm, always choosing what was fair and just. This unwavering commitment to goodness caught God's attention. Why? Because God saw in Michael a reflection of his own love for justice and righteousness. While other angels focused on their own glory, Michael's only concern was serving God and protecting others. Even Michael's name held deep meaning. It asks, who is like God? This simple question reminded everyone of God's unmatched greatness. In heaven's early days, Michael didn't seek special treatment. He approached every task with quiet determination, whether guiding lost souls or guarding against evil. God recognized something others missed. He knew Michael's humble heart and unwavering faith would make him the perfect warrior against evil. In a world where pride often leads to downfall, Michael's selflessness became his greatest strength. This is why God chose Michael as his champion, not because he was flashy, but because he had the heart of a true hero. Michael's story teaches us that real strength comes from standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult. So when you feel ordinary or overlooked, remember Michael. He shows us that having a heart full of courage, faith, and love for others is what truly matters. That's what makes a hero. We've seen how Michael's inner strength made him special. But what about his looks? For centuries, artists have tried to capture this powerful archangel in their work. Their visions of Michael are as diverse as they are awe-inspiring. These artistic interpretations reveal a lot about how we see divine power. When you picture an archangel, you probably imagine someone strong, brave, and beautiful. That's exactly how artists often show Michael. In paintings and sculptures, he usually appears as a young man in his prime, radiating strength and courage. Artists love to show Michael ready for action. They often dress him in shining armor, like a heavenly knight. In his hand, you'll usually see a sword or a spear. These weapons represent Michael's role as a warrior against evil. Here's where things get interesting. Michael's wings in art serve a special purpose. They show his heavenly nature and his ability to move between heaven and earth. But when artists leave off the wings, they're focusing on Michael's human-like qualities. This makes him feel more relatable to us. In many famous paintings, you'll see Michael fighting a dragon. This dragon represents evil itself, often symbolizing Satan or the devil. These battle scenes are full of action and drama. You can almost hear the clash of Michael's sword against the dragon's scales. Artists also try to capture Michael's goodness and divine light. Sometimes they paint him with a glowing halo or surrounded by heavenly light. This reminds us that Michael's true strength comes from God. One of the most famous depictions of Michael is a huge bronze statue on top of Castel Sant'Angelo in Rome. This castle was once a fortress for the Pope. The statue shows Michael putting his sword back in its sheath, symbolizing the end of a plague that had devastated Rome. Imagine how hopeful people must have felt when they saw this powerful figure watching over their city. These artworks do more than just look pretty. They help us imagine what Michael might really look like. When we see these images, we can picture this mighty archangel more clearly in our minds. It makes the stories about him feel more real and vivid. But there's something even more important about these artworks. They show us how people's ideas about Michael have changed over time. In some periods, he looks more like a gentle guardian. In others, he's a fierce warrior. These changes reflect how society's values and fears have shifted throughout history. Next time you see a painting or statue of Michael, take a closer look. What is the artist trying to tell you about this powerful archangel? Is he a comforting protector or a mighty warrior. By understanding these artistic choices, we can gain a deeper appreciation for Michael's role in our spiritual imagination. Artists have portrayed Michael as both protector and warrior. One battle truly defined his role. Heaven was once a place of perfect peace and harmony. Angels lived in blissful unity, serving God with joy. But this tranquility wouldn't last. Lucifer, the morning star, was the brightest and most beautiful of all angels. God gave him incredible power and wisdom. Lucifer's pride grew. He whispered to other angels, planting seeds of doubt. "Why should we serve?" he'd ask. "Aren't we just as worthy to rule?" His charisma swayed many angels. As Lucifer's following grew, heaven darkened. Angels who were once friends now looked at each other with suspicion. Michael made his stand in this tense atmosphere. Michael wasn't the biggest angel, but he had unwavering faith in God. When he heard Lucifer's ideas, Michael felt righteous anger. He confronted Lucifer, crying out, "Who is like God?" This simple question became a battle cry, inspiring loyal angels to stand firm. Lucifer was enraged. He didn't expect anyone to challenge him. The stage was set for the greatest battle heaven had ever seen. The book of Revelation describes what happened next. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. Heaven erupted into fierce combat. Michael led God's forces with determination. His sword flashed like lightning as he faced Lucifer. As the fighting continued, the tide turned. Lucifer and his followers couldn't stand against Michael and the loyal angels. They were pushed back. The battle's outcome would shape the course of all spiritual history. Michael's victory over Lucifer changed everything in heaven. The final battle ended with a blinding light filling the sky. When it faded, Lucifer and his rebel angels were gone, cast out of heaven like shooting stars. Michael stood tall, battered but victorious. Heaven burst into joyous celebration. Angels sang praises to God and cheered for Michael. Peace returned to their celestial home. Michael had saved them all from Lucifer's evil plan, becoming a true hero in every angel's eyes. God looked upon Michael with great pride. He saw how Michael's loyalty never wavered, even when faced with Lucifer's temptations. Therefore, God decided to give Michael a new and important role. In front of all the heavenly host, God declared Michael the archangel. This meant Michael would now lead all of God's angels. It was a huge responsibility, but Michael was ready for the challenge. He bowed humbly before God, accepting this new duty with grace. As archangel, Michael's job was to protect God's people on earth. He would guide other angels in their missions to help humans. Michael also became the defender of all faithful souls. When evil threatened, Michael would be there to fight it off. But Michael's story was far from over. His new role as archangel was just the start of an even greater journey. There would be more battles to fight and more people to protect. Michael's courage would be tested again and again. The tale of Michael's victory over Lucifer teaches us an important lesson. It shows that staying true to what you believe in can lead to amazing victories. Next time you face a big challenge, remember Michael. He proves that with determination, you can overcome any obstacle, even when things seem impossible. Michael, as an archangel, possessed extraordinary abilities that set him apart. God granted him the power to travel instantly across the universe and change his appearance at will. One moment, he could guard heaven's gates, the next he'd appear on earth to help someone in need. This shape-shifting skill allowed Michael to blend in or stand out as the situation required. Michael's sword wasn't an ordinary weapon. Blessed by God, it glowed with pure goodness, striking fear into demons, dark spirits, and even Satan himself. Evil trembled at the sight of its radiant blade. But Michael's most powerful gift was his unique bond with God. He heard the Creator's voice more clearly than any other angel, giving him a direct line to divine wisdom. This connection helped Michael make the right choices in tough situations. Think of it like having a best friend who always knows what to do. Michael and God were so close that the archangel understood exactly what was expected of him. These incredible powers came with great responsibility. God trusted Michael to use his abilities wisely, protecting people and fighting evil. It wasn't always easy. Michael often faced difficult decisions and frightening enemies. A big challenge loomed on the horizon, one that would test Michael's limits. But with his array of powers and unwavering faith, he stood ready for anything. Remember, Michael's true strength came from his faith in God and his commitment to doing what's right. We can learn from this, even without magical abilities. When we trust in something greater than ourselves and strive to do good, we too can find inner strength, just like Michael. But here's another question that might interest you. Why was he given the task to protect the people of Israel? These people were devoted to God, and protecting them was crucial. So why Michael? Michael, God's trusted angel, was chosen to be the guardian of Israel. The Israelites faced many dangers from enemies and dark forces. They needed a strong protector, and Michael was perfect for the job. God gave Michael this important mission because he had proven himself time and again. He had beaten Lucifer, led God's armies, and shown deep faith. Now, he had to keep an entire nation safe. Michael fought hard to protect the Israelites. He battled powerful angels who wanted to harm God's people. Picture him with his blazing sword, fighting evil spirits above ancient Israel. But he did more than just fight in the sky. When armies attacked Israel, Michael gave their warriors courage and whispered battle plans to their leaders. He even confused the enemy sometimes. Michael also helped the Israelites stay close to God. When they forgot their special purpose, he found ways to remind them. He appeared to prophets in visions, giving them wisdom and warnings about what might happen if the people broke their promise to God. One famous story about Michael comes from the book of Daniel. The Bible says he helped another angel who was stuck fighting the prince of the Persian kingdom. This shows how Michael fought in the spirit world to protect God's people. There's even a story about Michael wrestling with Jacob, one of Israel's ancestors. Why would an angel do this? It shows how much Michael cared about the people he protected. He wanted to test their faith and make them stronger. Jewish stories tell us even more about Michael's protection. One tale says he led angels to fight against a huge army trying to take over Jerusalem. Can you imagine heavenly warriors swooping down to save the holy city? Michael's name means "who is like God." This became a battle cry for the Israelites. It reminded them that they had the strongest protector on their side. Even today, people pray to Michael for protection, inspired by how he guarded Israel. His story teaches us that sometimes the most unexpected heroes can become our greatest defenders. This brings us to our next question. Why did Lucifer and Michael fight over Moses' body? What hidden mysteries did the body contain, which made it a strange battle? Michael faced a strange battle over Moses' body. After the great leader died, the devil showed up, demanding the remains. Why would Satan want a dead body? Some think he planned to trick the Israelites into worshiping it instead of God. Imagine how upset the people would be if they found their beloved leader's body. Michael had to protect Moses even after death. This proves how much he cared about the people he watched over. A fierce argument broke out between Michael and the devil. Picture two powerful beings facing off over a lifeless body. The air probably crackled with energy as they fought with words. You might expect Michael to use his amazing angel powers against the devil, but he did something unexpected. Instead of fighting, he simply said, "The Lord rebuke you." Why did Michael do this? He knew God's power was even greater than his own. By letting God handle it, Michael showed complete trust in him. This teaches us that true strength comes from faith in something bigger than ourselves. The story of Michael protecting Moses' body isn't just about angels and demons. It's about standing up for what's right, even when things get scary. Michael proves that real power comes from trusting in God. Next time you face a tough situation, remember Michael's words. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to let a higher power take charge. This wisdom is why God trusted Michael with such important jobs. Now here's where things get interesting during the Last Judgment. I am sure you will be surprised as well. Michael's role in the Last Judgment is huge. He stands as God's right hand, weighing the souls of every person who has ever lived. Picture this: a divine courtroom where Michael holds a set of scales that decide if you go to heaven or hell. Talk about pressure. But how does it work? Michael places all your good deeds on one side of the scale and your sins on the other. The way it tips shows where you'll end up for eternity. Here's the thing though, it's not just about counting up actions. Michael looks deep into your heart, understanding why you did what you did. God trusts Michael with this job because he's proven himself time and time again. Remember how he stood up to Lucifer and protected Israel? That's why God knows Michael will be fair, even when the decision is tough. Sometimes the scales are almost perfectly balanced. A soul hangs between heaven and hell, with good and bad deeds nearly equal. In these moments, Michael digs deeper. He might remember a tiny act of kindness that saves you, or uncover a hidden sin that seals your fate. But wait, there's more. In some stories, Michael actually argues with Satan over souls. Picture them facing off in a heavenly court, debating your merits and flaws. Michael fights hard to give everyone a chance at redemption. He understands how hard life can be, and wants to tip the scales towards mercy whenever possible. This idea of weighing souls isn't new. The ancient Egyptians had a similar belief. But Michael's task goes beyond just measuring good and bad. His scales represent the balance between justice and mercy, showing how God wants both righteousness and hope for everyone. So next time you think about your choices, remember Michael and his scales. Every good deed could be the one that saves you. And if you're struggling, know that Michael is there, looking for reasons to argue on your behalf. His role reminds us that our actions matter, and that even the mightiest angel cares deeply about each of us. But who are the people who look up to Michael for help? Should you look up to Michael? Michael's a powerful angel and saint that many people turn to for help and protection. Soldiers and police officers especially look to Michael for safety, because he's known as the ultimate fighter against evil. When these brave men and women face danger, they often carry medals or say prayers to Michael, believing he'll watch over them and give them strength. Churches and chapels all over the world bear Michael's name. Some of these buildings are in really special places that seem to bridge the gap between heaven and earth. One of the most famous is Mont Saint-Michel in France. Picture a tiny island with a huge, beautiful church rising up from the sea. It looks like something out of a fairy tale. The story behind Mont Saint-Michel is even more amazing. Legend says that Michael himself appeared to a bishop named Aubert in the year 708. Michael told Aubert to build a church on this rocky island. At first, Aubert didn't believe it, but Michael kept showing up. Finally, Michael touched Aubert's head with his finger, leaving a mark that convinced the bishop this was real. Aubert got to work, and soon a small church appeared on the island. Over time, that little church grew into the massive abbey we see today. Pilgrims from all over Europe would make the dangerous journey across the tidal flats to pray there. They believed Michael's power was extra strong in this special place. September 29th is Michael's feast day, celebrated by many Christian churches. On this day, people remember Michael's bravery and goodness. They might go to special church services, say prayers asking for his protection, or even have parades in his honor. In some places, the celebrations get really big. Towns and cities might have festivals lasting for days. People dress up as angels, put on plays about Michael's battles, and share special foods. These celebrations show how much Michael means to people. Even today, he's a powerful friend they can turn to in times of need. Whether it's a soldier heading into battle, a police officer patrolling dangerous streets, or just an ordinary person facing life's challenges, Michael offers strength and hope. So the next time September 29th rolls around, take a moment to think about Michael. His story can inspire us all to be a little braver, a little kinder, and to stand up for what's right, just like this heavenly warrior has done for thousands of years. But do you know Michael's name is used in Judaism and Islam as well? Michael isn't specific to Christianity only. In Islam, Michael takes on a different role as Mikael. He's not a warrior angel, but instead, he's in charge of nature. Mikhail controls the rain, wind, and plants. Every raindrop and every leaf falls under his watch. His job is to keep the world growing and changing. Muslims believe Mikhail brings blessings to earth through nature. When crops thrive or rain comes at the perfect moment, that's Mikhail's work. He doesn't fight battles with a sword. Instead, he keeps the world healthy and in balance. Mikhail works as part of a team of important angels. One of his closest partners is Jibril, who you might know as Gabriel. While Jibril delivers messages from Allah, the Muslim name for God, Mikhail keeps nature running smoothly. In Islamic art, Mikhail often holds scales. These aren't for justice, though. They show how he balances nature. He makes sure there's the right amount of rain and sunshine. Everything must be perfect for the world to thrive. Mikhail takes his job very seriously. Some Muslim stories say he hasn't laughed since hell was created. This shows how important his work is. His decisions about weather and plant growth affect everyone's lives. Without rain, crops won't grow. Without sunlight, plants can't make food. Mikhail keeps everything in perfect balance. It's like he's leading a giant orchestra of clouds, wind, and trees. This view of Mikhail teaches us something important. The same figure can have very different roles in different religions. Both are powerful and important, just in different ways. Next time you feel a gentle breeze or watch rain fall on your garden, think of Mikhail. In Islam, he's there, making sure the world keeps turning and growing. It reminds us there's wonder in even the most everyday parts of nature. This different view of Mikhail shows us to look at things from new angles. What seems like one thing to us might be completely different to someone else. Both views can be true and valuable in their own ways. Have you ever wondered if angels still appear to people today? Michael's story doesn't end in ancient texts. Some of the most fascinating accounts of his appearances happened in the last century. Let's explore why people believe they've seen this powerful archangel. Throughout history, people have claimed to see Michael in times of great need. One famous story comes from Italy during a terrible plague. A man saw a vision of Michael standing on top of a castle, holding a flaming sword. But here's the surprising part. Michael put the sword back in its sheath. This simple act meant the plague was over. People felt incredible relief when they heard this news. Michael doesn't just fight battles in heaven. He comes to help people when they're suffering. It's like having a powerful friend who shows up right when you need them most. There are stories from all around the world of Michael appearing to those in need. Sometimes he comes as a warrior, ready to fight evil. Other times he appears as a gentle protector, offering comfort and hope. One of the most famous modern sightings of Michael happened in 1917 in Fatima, Portugal. 3 children watching their sheep saw something incredible. They reported seeing the Virgin Mary appear to them, with Michael standing beside her. Imagine how amazing this must have been for these kids. These stories of Michael's appearances show he's not just a figure from ancient tales. People today still feel his presence and believe he's looking out for them. Whether it's ending a plague or standing alongside other holy figures, Michael seems to show up when people need him most. Why does this matter to us? These stories remind us that we're not alone in our struggles. The line between heaven and earth might be thinner than we think. Next time you're facing a tough situation, remember these stories of Michael. You might feel the presence of a guardian angel watching over you too. But how is Michael represented actually? And what symbols does he use? Everything Michael wears has a particular role. Michael's symbols reveal a lot about his nature and duties. Let's uncover the hidden meanings behind the objects often shown with this powerful archangel. Michael's sword represents his role as a warrior against evil. When you see Michael holding a sword in artwork, it reminds you he's always ready to fight the bad guys. Picture a blade glowing with heavenly light, cutting through darkness. The scales Michael sometimes holds represent his job of weighing souls and bringing justice. Imagine a giant set of golden scales, with good deeds on one side and bad deeds on the other. Michael uses these to help decide where souls go in the afterlife. A banner in Michael's hand shows that he's a leader of angels. It's like he's carrying the flag of heaven's army. This symbol reminds us that Michael leads a whole team of heavenly beings. Michael's helmet, called the Helmet of Salvation, protects him from spiritual attacks. Think of it as the ultimate shield for your soul. It shows that Michael is ready to protect us from evil forces too. Fire around Michael in art represents God's presence. It's a sign that he's closely connected to God's power, glowing with divine energy. Michael's name itself is a powerful symbol. In Hebrew, Michael means, "who is like God." This isn't Michael bragging. Instead, it's a statement that no one can match God's greatness. These symbols work together to show Michael's many roles: warrior, judge, leader, and protector. The sword shows his strength, the scales his fairness, the banner his leadership, and the helmet his protective nature. The fire reminds us of his closeness to God, while his name declares God's supremacy. Next time you see a painting or statue of Michael, look closely. Can you spot his sword, scales, or banner? Is he wearing the helmet of salvation or surrounded by fire? Each detail tells part of Michael's story, reminding us that this mighty archangel is always ready to fight evil, protect the innocent, and serve God. This brings us to another question. How are these things relevant to modern times and our world? Michael's influence remains strong in our modern world, touching many aspects of daily life. You might spot his presence in unexpected places, from airport chapels to police officers' uniforms. Travelers seek his protection before flights, while those who serve and protect wear his image as a symbol of courage. But Michael's impact goes beyond personal safety. He's become a part of our culture, appearing in songs, movies, and artwork. Artists keep coming back to this ancient figure because his story of good triumphing over evil resonates deeply with people today. Why does Michael matter so much to modern folks? It boils down to hope. In a world full of challenges, wars, poverty, sickness, Michael stands as a beacon of strength. He reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles, and that good can always win. Think about times when you felt overwhelmed or scared. Maybe you're dealing with a bully at school or a tough situation at work. Michael's story can give you courage. He teaches us to be brave and stand up for what's right, even when things look dark. Michael's message is more important now than ever. In a time when bad news seems constant, he offers a powerful counterpoint. He shows us that there's a force for good watching over us, cheering us on as we face our own battles. Always remember Michael's enduring influence. From ancient stories to modern-day symbols, his presence continues to inspire and comfort people worldwide. If an angel can take on evil and win, maybe we can face our own challenges with renewed hope and strength. Michael's story teaches us about courage in the face of fear. When life gets tough, remember Michael's example. He stood up to the most powerful angel in heaven because it was right. You can be brave too. Michael also shows us the strength that comes from believing in something bigger than ourselves. His unwavering faith reminds us that true power often comes from humility. And speaking of ancient wisdom in our modern world, have you ever wondered how the Israel of biblical times compares to the bustling nation we know today? Imagine walking the same streets where prophets once stood, now lined with cutting-edge tech startups, from ancient temples to modern skyscrapers, from shepherds' fields to innovative agricultural farms. The transformation is stunning. But what would the biblical patriarchs think of today's Israel? What ancient customs still shape daily life? And how has this land, steeped in prophecy, become a global leader in innovation? Click the end screen video displayed on your screen to uncover the surprising connections between biblical Israel and the powerhouse nation of 2024. Trust me, some of these revelations will leave you speechless.